Hello, love to you and your loved ones. Pew, pew, pew. It's been a long time that I have not made a video, but here we are. Um, First of all, I will also make a guided meditation soon about helping people to relax, because there's nothing more important than that, especially right now, and not just because of vaccines and all that. This is a very intense time in the world in general, and so that would be a benefit for us, our loved ones, and the world if we relax. All right, so as far as what I wanted to talk about today, it's just amazing to me, and it ties together things that I've been talking about forever, for years and years. Now, there's one word that will help you succeed in anything, from enlightenment or any kind of spiritual attainments, to making money, to developing your career, being a good leader in the military, anything. It will help your life in any way. And I'll embellish this, but the simple word is selflessness. I made a video before that's really interesting, that selflessness means, like, you could think of it as love, like I'm selfless, I think of others first, I give, I care for others, I'm being selfless, as opposed to selfish. But then it does, for instance, Jocko Willink, the military leader that was in the Iraq War and is now a leadership guru, even he talks about the ego and how you can't be a good leader with ego, which is exactly the same thing that Buddhism talks about and non-dual teachings. You gotta be humble. You gotta make the others look good and feel good, whether they're in your team or other teams, because you got to work with, let's say you're in the Navy, you got to work with the Army, so you got to be good with people, you got to be good with relationships, you got to be good with your boss, and all this comes back to not trying to win and being humble and giving and making others feel good and not taking any credit for anything, and taking the blame for everything, and then giving away the credit for everything to your team. It's being a nice person. It's being a selfless person. But then it even gets to being selfless, meaning egoless. Ego is the self, because when you focus on yourself, the ego, it makes you less loving, selfless. So it's funny how those things two work. There's selfless as in not being selfish, which is love in a way, you could say, or selfless meaning no ego, not focusing on what you want. And I want to win this argument, for instance. That's all ego. And, so, okay, I'm reading a book. So I already talked about how Buddhism and a war leader that is now a leadership guru, agree. But this can help you succeed in anything. Because I'm reading this book called Go Givers Sell More. So this is, even in sales and business, we think of salesmen as creepy used car dealers, but nowadays people are realizing that they were wrong. All this, like, of course, we can kind of understand that pressuring people and it's not going to work. But today, there's still a lot of sales gurus that want you to use all these techniques, and you have to speak with this tone and have the tone going up first, and then you do this, and then there's all kinds of techniques. And I'm sure all that can help, but at the end of the day, this book, Go-Givers Sell More, instead of Go-Getters, or Go-Takers, especially not. We're talking about Go-Givers sell more. They've realized that the really, really, really successful businessmen, or salesmen, they're just nice people, and they genuinely develop relationships with people. And that's the difference. So even in hard times, they say, especially if you're in a hard time, you have no money, you lost your job, the economy is down, your industry is going down the tubes. Guess what? Especially then, and that's when most people are going to be more fearful and tighten up, and then that abundance isn't going to come. You're going to tighten up, or you can say your hand even, like, how are you going to receive anything when you're tightening up and you're afraid? That fear of, like, how am I going to make money? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to do this? Guess what? That's going to stop money from coming to you. You got to be relaxed. You got to allow the great stuff to come to you. A mind of abundance, as opposed to a mind of scarcity. And it's hard to do because we're afraid all the time and we worry. But it goes back to love and being selfless and being just a good, positive person. If you're a positive person, you think, hey, a really abundant mind, they'll think if they lose their job, they'll find a better job, So it just goes back to the basics: love, selflessness, positivity, integrity, because you need to build a good reputation and not be a creeper, not be a guy or a girl that's doing things to try to get something out of people. And that comes back around, I'll give you an example. Like, this lady lost her job, and a lot of other people in her industry lost her job. And so instead of just panicking and trying to look out for herself, guess what? She started a group that will help all the people in her industry get a job. So, and then that ends up helping her in the long run. And you see what I'm saying? So she's giving. Instead of like worrying about herself at the time when she could have easily, because she just lost her job too, but instead she's trying to help everyone else get a job. But in the end, that makes her more money in certain ways. But again, you can't expect anything. You can't expect. You just give without expectation. Same rule they talk about with manifesting. You give just to give. You give just because you want to help. And guess what? You feel a lot better. Other people like you. You can sleep at night with a healthy conscience. You can die happy. Because you're just being a person that's a nice person and a loving, helpful, positive person. So you can do it for those real good reasons, but you can also realize that this is going to make you more money. It comes around. And so here's another example. You can go to some industry event or whatever, and maybe a normal person would think, oh, well, I'm going to try to like work it in so that I can talk about what I'm selling or whatever, right? But they're saying, no, do not pitch people. Go out there, meet people, connect with people, really listen to them, Ask good questions about them. Like here, one really great question they were talking about was, once rapport is built, though, first. So genuinely, just listen to people, just talk. Just be a nice people person. And one other thing they said is, you don't have to be a good salesman. You don't have to have the gift of gab. You don't have to be outgoing, none of that. You just have to be a genuine person. Just be a real person. The best salespeople are just people. They go out there and they meet people, they talk, they're genuine, they want to get to know people, they want to learn about others. They're selfless, they just learn about others, and then it comes back around. They also had an example of a person that they were trying to, they had to go back and because their tickets were wrong when they went to the LAX, and they needed to get on the plane like right away because it was going to leave. And they were going to probably miss their flight if they had to go back and change something about their ticket. And then the lady just said thank you in Korean, because the girl was Korean, and because she has this thing about always trying to say thank you in the native language with this other Korean lady that she knew. And then suddenly the lady's like, because the lady was saying, there's no way, you have to go back down. And then all of a sudden she's like, let me see what I could do, you know? And it's like, just the smallest thing. Just be a nice person, but don't try to get things from people. Don't fake it. You can't fake it. You gotta genuinely care and genuinely be there, be present. Be present. Don't think about what you're gonna say next. Just listen to them and just be nice. That's it. Just be there and be nice, be present. That's it. And if they offer, then you can get to something about your business or whatever. But then don't keep going, you know, ask about their business. Be like, no, forget that. What about your business? And like, ask them to talk more. The same thing applies to relationships, you know. You want someone to like you, talk about them, you know. So this makes sense, but it's like, you got to do this. You got to do this in practice. And at the very least, you got to try to, you know, of course I said don't fake it, but you got to try to maybe fake it till you make it at first. Why? Because it's going to make your life more meaningful. But it's going to also make you business. It's going to make you more successful. You're going to have a bigger network. You're going to have genuine friends. And you're going to feel fulfilled as a human being. So it's such a no-brainer, you know. And so don't be tight and don't be thinking about yourself. Let go. Think about others. Be there for others. And it's going to make you money. It's going to get you more career opportunities. It's going to make you successful in whatever you do. Just be a genuine, nice person, and people will want to help you out. People will want to be around you. People will appreciate you, and you'll appreciate them, and it just goes around, and you're not worried. This is how successful people are, you know. We think successful people have to like be ruthless and all that, and we hear about that, but we're finding out that things are changing though. Maybe it's just something, maybe at the very least it's something that's just happening nowadays. But when I say nowadays, like the tides in the world are changing. And I'll end by saying something I've been saying for a long time, which is there is a shift going on in the world. And there's two kinds of people now, like just to, you know, simplify it. There's the love makers, you know, people that spread love, give love. Guess what? Give love, you're going to get love. Give abundance, generosity, you're going to get generosity in the form of money and everything else. Genuinely care, then they're going to care about you and help you out when you're out, down and out. or need a new job, or need a favor with somebody in your industry. But then on the other side, there's the people that are the fear mongers, low vibe, you know, afraid of everything. You know, there's a lot to be afraid of nowadays. At least fear is trendy now. You know, you're cooler if you're fearful now. But do not get it twisted. The universe does not like the fear people. Fear is a low vibe. You know, the universe is not going to reward fear. Abundance mentality is not fear, and it's giving, it's generosity, it's integrity, it's love. So remember that. No matter what society says, no matter what the news is saying, and in the end, even from a spiritual standpoint, maybe when you die even, the fear is going to not serve you, and the love will. And the generosity and the abundance mentality will. Because all you have when you die is your consciousness, if you believe that. So, and you know, that's one possibility at least, you know. You die, and it's wherever you're at, whatever vibe you're at is going to stay with you. And then that's going to determine where you go, whether you think you're going to go to heaven or hell, or whether you think you're going to be born again as some other being. So they all agree, whether it's military leaders, gurus, sales gurus, and spiritual masters, they all agree, be selfless, be helpful, don't think about yourself, focus on others. And it makes your life better and even makes you money. All right, peace. I hope this helps. And look out for my guided meditation on relaxing, because we need to relax. It's the most important thing right now.